This has been in the works for a while, and the one difference between this and the Big Three and really other league opportunities that are out there is that this is an American league in the United States. It'll be played in Miami. They already have a facility of 1,000 fans, LED system. It's going to be a pretty big time facility arena that they already have for this unrivaled league. And the part is they can play in the states, they can play in Miami, and it's going to happen not during the summertime. We know in the summer is the WNBA season, which is going to start pretty soon here in the calendar. This will be played in the winter time. It'll start, the first season will start January 2025. And like you said right there, Breanna Stewart, her and Nafisa Collier, who plays for the Minnesota Lynx, they're both co-founders of this league. So two WNBA stars, all-star caliber players, best in the WNBA, and two moms as well. Two women that understand kind of what women have to deal with, having to go play abroad to make more money additionally to support their families and their livelihoods, along with that WNBA salary. The average WNBA salary, Pat, is $120,000. I'm told this salary is going to be significantly higher, double the average salary in this league. And you think about the Supermax contract that we see in the WNBA right now, it's about $241,000. I'm told that the top players in this unrivaled league will be significantly more, could be double that amount. This league has a big array of Rolodex of investors that are involved now. And
And a good afternoon to you, wherever you might be. Hell, we had Manila check in the other day. Ryan in Sacktown coming to you. It is the King's Court Live. What's going on, everybody, as we file in on a Thursday, a very, very busy Thursday, both in the sports world, outside the sports world, here in the King's Court. Do I look a little clearer? Don't adjust your glasses. We have had a major upgrade here. I posted a little bit about it on X, so I do have to start the show here briefly. He's probably not watching at the moment, but I do have to shout out Haunted Horse. Yes, Haunted Horse, the Gym Boys guy, the guy that doesn't know how to turn on a microphone, yet he's like an audio engineer. You know, that guy who pops in here once in a while. He has been on my tail about getting this upgrade, and it took a while to come to fruition, but we are finally here. Hopefully there's going to be no audio hiccups. Video should be way clearer, which means you're going to see my ugly face a little bit better. So happy to have that. Thank you again to Haunted Horse. If he is watching, he'll probably catch it on the replay. That was Shams at the beginning of the show talking about the new 3-on-3 league that's going to be coming out for the women. This has been going on internationally for a little bit, and now it's going to be domestic, which is the big change Shams was talking about, and a huge bump in the pay for them. Not only is it a bump in the pay, it's pay outside of the season. So it sounds like the WNBA and this new league are going to be collaborating and working together. It's great for women's basketball. It's seeing a resurgence this year, and a big reason for that is star power. And the reason for star power is a lot of the women play 4 years. They play out their eligibility. So you have these built-in feuds. You have storylines already there. You followed a player. I mean, Caitlin Clark, perfect example of that right now. And it's not just the fans that are following her. The teams, the other teams in the WNBA are targeting her. They want a piece of Caitlin Clark. So good news there. Unfortunately, if you see me looking up, that's for two reasons. The first is I am tracking something else not to do with this show. The other reason for that is we may have a brief interruption around the 3 o'clock hour. The little man is going to be rolling into the house. So you might hear from Gordo. Who knows? He might make an appearance. But welcome into the 82 that have checked in so far here on If You Don't Like That. We've got a full show. Look, we had open forum last night, miscommunication on my part with Grant. So it was solo with me. But we had some good questions. In fact, Zach brought up a really good question to me. He said, if you did the 2018 draft all over again, and let's take Luka's name out of it, how do you see it shaking out? And I thought it was, at the time, a pretty damn good question. Then I look back at that draft and some of the names that were drafted, some of the names that were drafted later in that draft. It's a pretty good one. So I want to hear from you. Do a little bit of research. I've got the draft order right over here, which you can see. Start numbering your players. I want to see how you would have drafted. And we all know likely Luka is number one at the top of everybody's list. But after that, it gets a little bit interesting. I'll give you mine at some point during the show, but I want to get you involved. You can call with those 916-399-3748. You can call through Restream. Corn Dog's already done that. He's in the waiting room. We'll get to him in a few minutes, but we even have the draft set. So give me your picks. A lot of movement or some more movement with NBA coaching, more speculation that JJ Redick will be the choice of the Lakers. Nothing concrete new today, but the Lakers continue dragging out their coaching search, which seems to somewhat correspond with the end of the NBA Finals with some of the timelines that are being reported. JJ Redick supposed to be working the NBA Finals. So what do you think about that? I'm not sure if I mentioned it at the top. I'm sorry if I didn't. We have more Scottie Scheffler news. Just when we thought we wrapped this thing up with a bow yesterday, we talk about Scottie's statement. Guess what happens? Guess what happens? A statement is released by the arresting officer. And, I watched a little bit of Pat McAfee's show, which is why I played that sham sound right there. I thought Pat nailed it. I mean, Pat, sometimes it's funny. They have "Don't sue me" in the bottom of their little ticker. But what was this officer thinking? And I'm not even talking about anything to do with the arrest. I'm simply talking about the statement. We are going to get that all out to you. We'll read that for you in a minute. We got folks already checking in. I love it. Adam, what's up? I think I saw Sea-Dog up there too. Let's go. Maybe not. Let's see, Adam. Lit. Love it, dude. Lit time. Yes, indeed. I want your drafts. Let me know. Yeah, 9 million. I don't know. I mean, yeah, if you're going to coach in La La Land, cost of living adjustment, etc. Dealing with LeBron. What's the COLA for dealing with LeBron? Did you get the audio? No, I'm not going to play it, Dennis. There's no reason to. The legal part of it, I listened to it. The legal part of it, the charges were dismissed. There's no reason to revisit whether charges should have stuck, how it played out, etc. I thought we pretty much put that to bed yesterday, but then this officer comes out with really one of the most laughable things I've ever seen in a press release. Like, it's literally laughable. I'm looking at my screen above me right here. And if you have a few minutes, go and check it out online. I'm going to read you parts of it today, but I just don't know what this guy was thinking. I don't. And Pat McAfee made a really good point. I think at this point, a lot of people in the law enforcement community are like, dude, just back away. Just stop talking, go away into the sunset, and just go back to doing your job. But unfortunately, this guy, for whatever reason, wants to bring more attention to himself. Tell me why his statement in response to Scottie's statement is like 2 or 3 times as long. Makes no sense whatsoever. So again, I want your participation today. We can also talk some more about Zach Edey. We didn't finish that up yesterday. You want to talk about Coach Brown, the Kings? We can do that. Anything else that you want to hit on? Brandon McManus and the Jaguars. My boy Tony Khan I swear, this guy, another guy, just can't stay out of his own way. Maybe Tony Khan should hire Detective Gillis as his personal security. Those two are a match made in heaven. If you've heard about that story, it's not a great one, but at the same time, it's not a part of it, I should say, is not shocking either. So we can get to that as well. As I said, phone lines always open to you. We start off the show with Corn Dog. What's up, dude?
Oh, what's up? So I'm working on my order right here, and my top seven, at least
Oh,
for
wait, wait, wait,
2018.
wait, wait, wait. I gotta with Corn Dog's redrafts in the 2018 NBA draft, Corn Dog selects.
Luka Doncic with the first pick to the Phoenix Suns.
Okay, that's pretty simple. Next.
The Sacramento Kings select Shea Gilgeous Alexander.
Okay, so I have to ask you this. Were you in the camp that Luka and Fox probably wouldn't have worked out together?
I agree that it wouldn't have worked out, but I just like the same thing where I don't think Halliburton and Sabonis wouldn't have worked out because you have two guys that want to pass the ball, and that would basically mean we're relying on Herter and Barnes.
Hallie and Sabonis would have been perfect together, and I'm
Yeah,
not
but
knocking Fox.
who's shooting though? I mean, you want Barnes and Herter really being our go-to scorers?
Well, Corn Dog, you got guys like Keegan Murray that sometimes only get 3 shots a game. Harrison Barnes that only gets sometimes 1 shot, 2 shots. I think it frees the offense up a little more. I'm not saying it couldn't work or it wouldn't work, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Because Hallie's more so Fox is more of an ISO guy, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Hallie, not so much an ISO guy. So completely different players in that, right? So I think it would have worked out a lot better if you want a free-flowing ball moving offense.
I just don't think, and I think we would have had to trade Fox for Luka to get someone to go with Luka, and I'm honestly fine with that. I mean, Dallas traded, pieces away. I know they tried Dennis Smith Jr. for Porzingis. It didn't work out. Then they tried again with the Kyrie trade. It did work out. Sometimes you just got to find the right guy to go with your guy.
No doubt. And you don't know until you play it, right? So it's one of those things. I guess you could run it in 2K, but that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I would say about that. Yeah, you could try a 2K, but I mean 2K is not very accurate.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. All right, so we've got SGA to the Kings. We got Luka at 1. Where do you go after that?
Jalen Brunson to the Atlanta Hawks.
Isn't it crazy how late he was picked in this draft?
Yeah,
it's incredible. And that's why, and I'm not saying that there's a Jalen Brunson at 45 this year, but there's teams, the Warriors, for instance, last year that found some really good value in the second round.
You can always find a value guy maybe down the line or even just in the middle of the draft. Michael Porter Jr. in this draft was an example that where he was the number 1 guy coming out of high school, but that back injury derailed him to basically let Denver just take a shot on him. Like, oh, if it doesn't work out, it's the 14th pick. But if it works out, we could either have a pretty good, role player, or he actually lives up to what he could have been.
Yeah, and you know what? His value was right to drop because he had very, very, very few games in college. There wasn't much tape on him. It was mostly AAU stuff.
Yeah, again, that's just, early back injury. And it was the same surgery that, Steve Kerr had. It was really like a elderly person's type of back surgery. So there was a huge red flags on that one.
No doubt. All right, so we've got Brunson. Where else we going?
Trae Young to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay. Corn Dog's getting extra credit. He's going 7. I said 5. Go ahead. Keep him rolling.
I actually have 12 now.
Okay. Run them off really quick.
Michael Porter Jr. to the Dallas Mavericks.
All right.
The Orlando Magic select Dante DiVincenzo.
Ooh, that's kind of high. Okay.
The Chicago Bulls select Kevin Herter.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The Cleveland Cavaliers stay with Colin Sexton.
Fair.
The New York Knicks select DeAndre Ayton.
See, now that's the one that's interesting to me. I was waiting to see where he was going to fall because he hasn't been a bust. I mean, he's a serviceable
he's a
guy.
solid guy, so
Yeah.
I would say he's still worth a top 10.
Very good. Okay. So is that all of them? I wasn't keeping track.
I still got more.
Okay. Here we go.
The Philadelphia 76ers select Grayson Allen.
Oh, wow. Wow. So there's a couple of names I'm surprised you haven't said yet. Keep going. Yeah.
The Charlotte Hornets select Mikal Bridges.
There we go. I was waiting for one of the Bridges.
And then the Clippers will select Miles Bridges.
Okay.
And their next pick, they will select Mo Bamba.
Mo Bamba. All right.
That's 13.
All right. There you go. That is Corn Dog's list. Well done. Way to kick us off today, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I came up with that, in like, what, 4 minutes?
You know what? Sometimes that's all it takes. Corn Dog, when does Bagley get selected?
You know what? Bagley probably, I say he falls all the way to Utah.
Okay. All right. All right.
21st.
Corn Dog, our resident Costco League champion, and what kind of general manager you want to be? What was that? The Mike Hess or something?
Oh, Mike Hess Brewing?
Mike Hess, GM. There we go. There we go. Assistant GM to Mike Hess Brewery.
Hey,
Love
you know
it,
what's
dude.
funny? Thinking about that Costco. We all had like custom shorts on. Our manager, he makes like his own shorts.
Oh, really? Yeah. It probably does his wife, or does he have a Cricut? I'm guessing.
He does his own. It's kind of a side business kind of thing. He made like a King's design for me.
Hold on, let me pop you up here. Let's see. Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he was wearing the Lakers one. Someone was wearing a Bulls one, I think.
Where did he get shorts that close to kind of the scheme and the colorway the Kings wore? That's crazy.
No, he's got a lot of pastel, like Hawaiian type stuff.
Very cool.
And his brother does a lot of bodybuilding, so they decided to start pairing that with some athletic wear and stuff.
Love it. Yeah, my wife has a Cricut, and when in my previous life, instead of outsourcing certain things like our company shirts, we would make them. So yeah,
this is his logo, the B, because it's Bagoware or something like bag with a O, Bagoware.
Bagoware. Interesting. The clones would have a field day with that brand name. Just saying.
Probably.
Yes. I just want to make that really clear.
They're not bad.
Cool. Well, hey, appreciate the call, brother. Way to kick us off. Good job. Hard act to follow there.
I know. I went all the way to 13 picks.
All right. Setting the tone. That is Corn Dog. You're going to be back later for the post-game open forum?
Oh, yeah. Post-game, baby. Let's see if we have a finals matchup or another game.
I think we're going to have another game. We'll see. We can talk about that a little bit.
I did call Mavs in 6, so let's see if that comes through.
It could. I mean, I'm just saying, this T-Wolves team, they are resilient. And Anthony Edwards, that dude believes. So I'm scared if they get this one.
They've led every time under 5 minutes, so that's got to count for something.
Yep, no doubt. All right, well, we'll be chatting later. Way to kick us off today, brother.
Later.
Oh my gosh, that dog.
How about new?
How about new, dog? Go outside. No, my dog is the worst when it comes to that. And by the way, can I give you guys just a little inside King's Court really quick before we get to the chat? So I found this really funny today. So the upgrade that we did was we've been waiting for fiber optic internet to come into our neighborhood. And it's been here in places for like the last year, at least the company that we wanted to go with. And I won't say the other name of the company, but they're probably the most popular or, most used company here in this area for internet, cable, etc. And the fiber guys come out to the house about a month ago. And this is when it all kicked off. And the line where they thought they were going to have to dig some of our yard up was like right on the edge of the property line. And the people that live on the other side of us, who own the other part of that lawn, it's actually a rental. So they have property management. And I respect what property management needs to do. But they tried to back me down a little bit, not knowing what I used to do in a previous life. And, I let them know what the county code and the laws said. And so that stalled the process a little bit. But they were out here yesterday, and basically they didn't have to dig anything up. And they were able to get it all set up for the installer or the inside installer to come today. So, like a smart person, we did not cancel. We did not cancel our other internet until this was up and running, and we knew we were good. And so I just found it funny that when I called the other internet company, when you need to talk to somebody, like if you got an IT problem or your account screwed up, whatever it may be, like after COVID or during COVID, I get it. But then after COVID, there's been too many times with companies where it's like you can't get to somebody and you've got to have some super secret code to like get to a live person. Well, when I called the other company today and I stated my reason to the automated system, it kicked me to one question. Are you canceling because you're moving? And it said hit 2 if you're not, right? And so I hit 2 and it's like, we didn't get your answer. So I have to hit 2 like 3 more times. And it's like, you got my answer, right? But then it's like, please hold. And it takes you directly to somebody, like directly to somebody. So there's your hack. Just tell them you're canceling if you want to get to somebody live. And then it was funny. I respect they have a job to do, but I was clear. There's no going back. This is done. And they still tried to hustle us to stay, but all is good in the end. Fiber optic is up and running, but I just found it really funny that I could get to a live person like that when you say the word cancel. So, all right, let's get back to the comments really quick. You guys are talking about his draft. I like it. C-Dog coming in with his. Luca. SGA, Trey, Brunson, Bridges, JJJ. Interesting. Bridges fourth. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Mark coming in. Say Orlando would have Jaren Jackson, possibly. Bridges and Jackson better than those couple guys. Yeah, Condogs was a little bit over the place, but I'm sure that he was kind of looking at fit too, because I have the Kings 2018 roster in front of me, and I'm kind of getting an idea of the fit that they needed, or at least reminding myself. We got to that one. What about Anthony Simmons? Might be a top 10 pick in this redraft. Very well could be for some people. Carter Jr. and Sexton would be my next 3. C-Dog chiming in. Anybody that chimes in with their picks gets the draft sound. Sorry in advance if you don't like the draft sound. Marvin Bag O. Yes, well, we're going to talk about something along those lines in a second. Not ready to put Brunson over Trey overall. Now, that is an interesting thing. Not ready to put Brunson over Trey. Really? Have you not seen enough of a sample size? Is it durability? What is it, C-Dog? I know you'll follow that up. Corn Dog loves the fiber. Yes, indeed. Mark here in Cali should have fiber already. You live in a cave. Yes, I know. We're ancient. No, it was just our neighborhood, or at least where we're at in the neighborhood, there's not a ton of telephone poles. There's not a ton of things that they would normally use to hang stuff off of. And so that's what's made it kind of a case by case thing with houses. But here's the deal. We were paying $160 a month for internet. And by the way, like we had like the top of the top stuff that they offered. And one time I called because you guys have seen some of the internet issues we've had, and with streaming, you have to have good internet. Um, they were like, "Well, did you change the name of your network when you got the internet?" No. Why do I need to change the name of my network? Whatever. Home 287 dash. Oh, well, if you don't change the name of your network, you can't get the maximum internet speed. What? Get out of here. But we're only paying 45 bucks. So, yes, we were living in a cave. Who the Kings going to get in the draft? I don't think they're going to get anybody, Lids. And good to see you, Lydia. I haven't seen your name in here for a while. Hope you are well. I think they're probably going to trade that pick, in my opinion. I don't think the Kings now have the time to develop somebody that's going to be only 1 year of college and in the draft. They if they're going to pick somebody there, it needs to be somebody, in my opinion, that's an upperclassman. Mark, I could give you more BS. After I laid it out today, Mark, and I was like, you can't do anything to keep us. Nothing against you. I'm not upset, even though it's like, dude, I feel like you should give us some money back. And that's just me being petty. But then she goes, well, here's what we can do for you. And I had already dropped the number. I said, I'm only paying $45 now a month. Only $45. And she goes, well, here's what we can do. We can give you a 1 gig network or 1 gig for $95 a month. I said, lady, we were already supposed to have a gig. So I think that kind of slowed the roll a little bit, but I get it. They're on recorded lines. They have to do a job. Let's see. Baki, what's up, dude? Hey, we're redrafting for 2018, Baki. So go take a look at the 2018 draft. I think it's unanimous. Luka is the #1 pick overall. But how would you shuffle the next 4 or 5 picks after that, especially the Kings pick? Let's see. Brunson just got that dog. He sure does. Not going to lie. Trey went to an Eastern Conference Finals. Just seems like recent bias. Yeah. There's something to that, but I don't know. Can we apply even a blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes? I mean, Atlanta's teams, they're either really good in the regular season, they blow it in the postseason, or they're mediocre and then they make a, unscheduled run. So who knows? What's a lie? What's a lie? Fill us in. Baki hopping back in. Hello, Ryan. Hello, Lydia. Hello, Condog. What's up? Holy moly.
Holy moly, Jim Bowley.
How you doing today? Tell Tedora hi. Okay, really quick, while we are caught up. Oh, I thought we were caught up in the chat. You know what? We're still going to go this way really quick because I want to get this off the docket because it's going to bug me if I don't get this story through. So we talked yesterday about Scotty Scheffler, right? And we said this thing's behind us. He issued a statement. We went a little bit more into depth about what it meant probably for, the department. And some people shared their experiences in the chat. Well, and just to paraphrase Scotty's statement, and remember how I told you all, I said the fact that Scotty dropped the officer's name directly in his statement, to me, was kind of a passive aggressive poke back at the officer, right? So apparently, maybe this officer took that the same way and like, you know what? I'm going to take the high road on Scotty Scheffler, right? And this guy comes out. So first off, why is the department signing off on this? And wait till I read it. It'll make sense then. But in response to Scotty's statement that was basically, I just want to put it behind me. Just want to put it behind me. Let's move on. I'm glad charges were dropped. As I said from the beginning, it was a big misunderstanding. All right. Wow. I'm not going to read you the first couple paragraphs or the first couple sentences. He's referencing the accident. And you know what? I do want to read that. A tragic accident occurred in the family of Mr. Mills remains in my family's thoughts and prayers. Mr. Mills is the gentleman that was killed by the bus. So at least that's the only decent thing in here for the most part. He talks about how it was a chaotic scene, yada, yada, yada. And then here we go. Mr. Scheffler and I both agree that there will be no ill will over this going forward. Instead of giving a negative public reaction, he chose to speak with dignity, humility, and respect. My family and I appreciate that. Let's see. It was an unfortunate and disturbing to hear. I'm going to paraphrase here. The attorney for Scotty Scheffler's commentary today claiming that a false arrest was made and for him to challenge my honesty and integrity. Well, let's stop there. That was already happening in a public forum due to some of the videos that have come out. Dennis has fairly pointed out there is another video of Scotty talking to the officer, but he carries on. To be clear, I was drugged by the car. I went to the ground and I received visible injuries to my knees and wrists. I'm going to recover from it and will be okay. This is the extent of my commentary on the incident. The reality is that there are more important things in the world right now than a back and forth over this. A person lost his life that day and a family lost a loved one. Done. Just leave it there, bro. Done. But what do you think he does? No. At the end of the day, I take pride in working for the people in the community to preserve their safety. I've spent 2 decades trying to protect this city through some challenging times, and I would like to keep doing so without the distractions caused by this series of events. I wish Scotty Scheffler and his family the best. Sincerely, Brian Gillis. Do you think we're done? That should be the end of it, right? No. And let me paint a picture for you. His signature is literally right there. Sincerely, signature. Under signature, P.S. Literally says P.S. Yes, the department has us buy freaking $80 sweatpants. I am not inserting the word freaking. His statement says that. $80 pants. Yes, the department has us buying freaking $80 pants. To those concerned, they were indeed ruined. But Scotty, it's all good. I would have never guessed I'd have the most famous pair of pants in the country for a few weeks because of this. Take care and be safe. Brian.
How about no?
Are you kidding me? Do you want to put out a fire? Do you want to throw tinder and gasoline on it? I mean, this guy, could this be any worse? Like, how does this not get vetted by the department? Does this guy add something extra in? I didn't realize him and Scotty were great friends. To do a PS and then a Brian, like you're on a personal level with this dude that you just drug through a terrible week in his life? Talk about how can you put in the exact same statement, a tragic incident occurred in the family of Mr. Mills remains in my family's thoughts and prayers, and then go back at the end of it and say a person lost his life that day and a family lost a loved one. How disrespectful in the same statement to then put P.S. Yes, the department has us buying freaking $80 pants. And then to carry on. Talk about making it about yourself. If you're trying to make it about the victim, make it about the victim. Don't make it about yourself. And it's exactly what this knucklehead did. And I am sorry to be calling him a knucklehead, calling a public official, a safety officer. I say it all the time. Somebody that runs towards the danger, not away from it. I don't want to be calling you names, but I don't care what job you do. There is an ethical line, there is a respectful line. Hell, we've talked about the professional line lately, especially with coaching and players. This is so unprofessional. The most expensive pair of pants in the country for a few weeks because of this. Well, I'm glad that you have a good story to tell because the guy that was killed is dead. I don't know how all you feel about this. I just think this is literally the worst thing this guy could have done. And mind you, with all the charges dropped, everything was up and questioned about what happened. I don't want to talk about this story anymore. I hope, just like Tony Khan, this guy stays the hell out of the news cycle. It's offensive. Like it's keeping up with the Joneses. It's trying to capitalize on your moment of fame. It's just garbage. So we're gonna leave it at that. I'll get to your comments on it. It really rubbed me the wrong way. If you think I'm overreacting, just let me know. And I am happy to address those comments. Baki is number one. Lids hopping back in. If the Kings trade the pick for a player, he needs to be a true center or a good shooting guard because Keegan is a true three. I don't disagree with Keegan being a true three. I don't disagree about a true center, but it would be a true center as a backup, Lids. The Kings do not want to put a true center on the floor with Domantas Sabonis. It would not work. You would have two guys that are, and Domas moves well, don't get me wrong, but athletically, he doesn't move as well as some of the other guys that you see that are getting up and down the floor at that same position. I could see your Seahawks last place in the NFC West. Okay, we're taking shots. All right, Romanowski, keep my eye on you. Well played. Doc Baki. Actually, it's Ref Rocky or Ref Baki. ESPN headline on Cop's statement. Cop criticizes attorney, wishes Scheffler the best. Well, take it for what you want. He is getting killed. These cops have massive egos. I'm not going to put a broad stroke on every officer because I know many that don't have massive egos, but ego seems to be involved in this one. All right, Flores hopping in with his redraft. Luka, SGA, Brunson. So those three have been pretty popular near the top. Young, Mikal, Herter, Grayson, and Portis Jr. Why is Herter going so high, y'all? Is it because you've seen him here in Sacramento? Are you giving him some hometown love? I don't think he's that high on the draft list, but that's my list, and I will respect all of yours. Let's not blanket all of them. There you go. What I was saying. Yeah, we're not going to get into that. Not going to get into that. And by the way, I just want to make this clear. If you are a knucklehead on this show and you come on live, we trust you guys. This is live. I do not have a dump button, but I can get you off the screen immediately, and I have the power to make sure you are never on the screen again. So if you want to try that funny stuff like some people have tried to do lately, it's not going to work as you saw yesterday. So I just want to put that out there. What's up, Scuba? How the heck you doing? Let's see. I can't wait to hear Harrison named being called out next year as a starter. Welcome to King's Hell. I don't know if he'll be starting. I don't know. I'll pose that question. Will Harrison be on the opening day roster? Do you guys think he will be here? If I look at Davion, Herter, and Harrison, the value compared to the contracts, to me, it's Davion, it's Harrison, and then it's Herter. Although you could arguably put Harrison above Davion, even though it's a higher number. It depends on what the team is looking for. Oh, yeah, Lids, we have talked much about that. Let's see. I can't think of a single move the teams make other than switching role player here too. Feels that way, right? I mean, that's why this whole whatever the result's going to be of the Mike Brown extension, just make a decision one way or the other. Just come out and say we're not going to extend him, or come out and say here's our extension. Don't say it's tabled. And I get tabled as ambiguous. We've talked at length about that. But if you're trying to attract a free agent here with an MLE or whatever it may be, this is like it's almost one of those things on the checklist. Like, if I'm going to go to Sacramento, these things need to be happening. Be competitive, have a stable like culture and front office in place, and that's about it. I mean, and if one of those is not checked, i.e., and I get Mike Brown still has another year and then the option, but the team also has the option. It's not a good look. It's not, because that's regardless of whether or not Vivek was on the clock for some of these issues. That's still the reputation of this team. And I think that's why they so often, even this year, got snubbed. And, last year, look at how quickly the NBA was to recognize your Sacramento Kings. You have 2 All-Stars. You have the clutch player of the year, the first ever clutch player of the year, unanimous coach of the year. Everything like we talked about yesterday, that year was humming. Those boys were having fun playing basketball. But then you see this little cloud, whatever it was. We don't know exactly what was in that cloud, but it was over this team. And then almost everybody gets snubbed. It's not a coincidence. It's not. So, we want good moves too. No doubt. Loving the comments. Upgrade Monk to the starting lineup. It does change things, Adam, if you upgrade Monk to the starting lineup. It certainly does, because then you got to look at a little bit more firepower off the bench. I get it doesn't matter who starts the game. It matters who ends the game. But when I think about the Kings, if they're not going to make any big moves, and assuming Monk comes back, the Kings aren't a team that can fall behind by 15 or 20 and come back, or at least last year they were not. So that tells me you have got to have your best players on the floor right at the start of the game and just get going with it. You can't get cute. Some potential names around the Kings picks. Jacoby Walter, I don't like that he's a one-year guy. Devin Carter, Jared McCain. Yes, we will do some profiles on all of them. I have already started my research, in addition to talking to some people around the league and those that were at the, as one person put it to me, the Brawny Bind this last month. So you turned in late. Is this a no, not at all. We were talking about the statement that the arresting officer issued today on the Scotty Scheffler thing. So definitely not painting anybody with a broad brush. I made that very clear from the start. Dave, what's up, dude? How's my wardrobe? What do you rate it, Dave? You're always tracking these things, and I really appreciate it. I got the hat on. You point out when I don't wear a hat. Now, Dave, so here's the thing. Now, like on the days where I'm not doing the show, I look at hats and I'm like, oh, Dave, like somehow I'm associating you with hats now. So well done by you. Again, we want your 2018 redrafts. So you can give me the first 5 picks. We know Luka's going to be number 1, but after that, which way are you going? Just open Twitter. Excellent. And the first post said, here's 5 reasons that Harrison Barnes is the most undervalued asset in the NBA. Yeah, it's that time of year for those kind of articles. I'm not going to say he's the most undervalued asset in the NBA, but if you made a list of undervalued Kings, he might be at the top of the list. He very well could be at the top of the list. Let's see. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Here we go. We going to do this again? You guys signed Juwan Jennings. You're going to come after me, poor Seahawk fan. Seahawks are down. Hey, I got a question. You see that helmet that's behind me? Where right there? See that? Do you see what's in front of that helmet? Yep, I'm trying to point it. There we go. You see that? That's a championship ring from the Seahawks. It's not a real one, but when was the last time you guys had a championship? I'm just wondering. When was the last time? Help me out, Dennis. I know you have what, like 5 or 6 of them, but hell, was I even born yet? I mean, you guys really haven't won a championship in a long time, Dennis. I'm giving it back, y'all. I'm giving it back. I really didn't notice a shirt. Fair enough. 2003 NBA redraft. Yeah, right. Shots fired. Shots fired. Yes, indeed. Uh-oh.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Okay, so I don't have any bad news at the moment, but I do want to read you some of these names. I want your redrafts. You can call the show 916-399-3748. In fact, you don't even have to do redrafts. If you want to call and talk about something else, do it. You can also call through Restream. The link is in the chat. Put it back right there. You do not have to be on video for Restream. However, if you are on video and I can't see you, my radar is already starting to go up. I'm just telling you that. I have a knack for when things are getting a little weird, like last night. I've got a really good knack about that. And I knew I probably shouldn't have taken that call. It's a name I didn't recognize, number one. Dark screen, but on camera. And it had clone written all over it. You don't need to go back and watch because he didn't get anything off. I got him off before he got his money shot off, but he definitely thought he got over on me. Rhino, do the worst draft so we can compare it to this year's draft. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. We're positivity here on the King's Court. By the way, you got Grant coming up at 5 o'clock. Make sure you are locked in for that. If you are not one of the 7.2 thousand subscribers on If You Don't Like That on YouTube, go do so. You're missing out. Our full library of post-game shows, pre-game shows, etc. are on there. All of our shows with Jerry, Grant, and Sean Salisbury, special interviews like Scott Pollard, Ian Eagle. Go check that out after the show. And again, Grant will be here at 5, and then Grant and I will be back tonight at 8 after the T-Wolves and the Mavericks. Who you got tonight, the T-Wolves or the Mavericks? Let me know. And then, by the way, you are here on the King's Court on If You Don't Like That, the live version of the King's Court Monday through Friday. So the audio from every live show gets uploaded to Apple and Spotify, Amazon, etc. And then every morning you also get a King's Court morning shoot around that is not part of the live show. So make sure you're subscribed. Really appreciate that. So we'll get back to the chat really quick. And then I do want to talk a little bit about tonight's game. Dallas Luka all the way. There you go. Steely, what's up? You're going Mavs too. So Luka was cold last game, right? But the Mavs still were hanging in there. I thought the Mavs actually should have won that game. Again, anytime you have 30 points off of turnovers, that's a game you've got to win, especially in the playoffs on your home court. It's one of those ugly wins. It just, to me, the way the Timberwolves won that game, the way they held on to the end, the way that Cat kind of got some momentum back, I don't like it with them returning on their home court. As of right now, I am leaning Timberwolves for tonight, but I can be swayed. It all depends on how hard the Timberwolves make Luka work on defense. I know Reggie has pointed it out a few times. I went back, watched some film. Luka really is playing free safety at times and not being forced to work on defense. So you've got to get him moving because unlike De'Aaron Fox, unlike some of those other guys, he does not have the same motor. Luka does not. And he can go. He can play 48 minutes, but it's a little bit more of a struggle for him at times. He has a few more lulls than I'd like to see. But that to say, if they're able to continue doubling Anthony Edwards, that's going to be a problem if Minnesota doesn't have a McDaniels, doesn't have a Cat, doesn't have a Gobert that steps up. And the T-Wolves too, they've got to play without fouling. They had multiple guys. That's right. That's right, Dave. I have a wide collection of caps. And it's funny how your hats change over time. In fact, I've got a pile of probably, I would say like 15 fitted hats that I got to get rid of. Half of them are not 49ers. They're Giants hats that were given to me. I'm going to save those for Haunted Horse. Don't tell them. Fox still needs help. There's no doubt about it. But again, we've been saying Fox needs help for a really long time. Both before this front office and Coach Brown and after it. So I guess, again, and for those, Lydia, you have not been chatting too much. Here's the thing. Fox has only got a couple years left on that contract. After this year, he has 1 year left. So the franchise, for all intensive purposes, has to make that decision this year. And the reason you have to make that decision this year is because you can't let Fox walk without getting any value. And the longer you go and the more that he becomes a rental, the less value you are going to get in exchange. So I've been heavy on talking about that. El Cap, what's up? How you doing? Yes, he is my target. I think Kuzma is the guy the Kings need to go get. Now, the problem with that is Washington knows that the Kings want him and they're willing to move him. But when teams know that they want a guy really bad and they also desperately need a guy, the price goes up. Yes, definitely. Throwbacks? Some of them. Baki, I'll get to that question in a second. El Cap weighing in again. El Cap, have you climbed, El Cap? Just asking for a friend. Speaking of friends, let's bring in our buddy Alex. Alex, what's up, my man?
Hey, how's it going, Ryan?
Good. How you doing today?
Good. I wanted to first start off by giving you your flowers on your point you made the other night about Ingram, about him not being real physical. I didn't think about that when I was thinking about him versus Kuzma. So shout out to you, man. That was a great point. And yeah, I 100% agree that Kuzma should be our target. Not only the contract isn't friendly, he's pretty athletic, he's long. I feel like just inserting him for Barnes just automatically makes us more athletic, longer. It doesn't fix everything per se, but I think it just fixes a lot of problems that are there for sure.
Yeah, I 100% do agree with that. And the reason that, well, I think probably if you get Kuzma, Barnes is probably gone.
Yeah.
Although that being said, there is a pathway depending on what Washington wants to do and the direction they want to go that maybe you could retain Barnes and get Herter off. But either way, that sends one of those two probably to the second unit. And there's no guarantee, by the way, that Kevin Herter is going to be ready to go at the start of the season. That was a fairly serious shoulder injury, and he has battled shoulder injuries in his past, so I want to see how that works out. But I think Kuzma is a much better fit, especially if you want to keep the ball moving, because, Alex, besides the physicality, we've seen isolation basketball in Sacktown this year did not work. And Brandon Ingram, ISO dude all day.
Yeah, no, 100%. I wanted to ask you, too, about that, to elaborate a little bit more. With the whole Kuzma thing, I had seen rumors last year about certain beat writers saying that I think they approached Fox and Sabonis that about playing with him. I don't know if you heard about that, and supposedly that they didn't want to. Again, I know rumors are rumors, but I was kind of curious about that, and if that was true, what do you think about that?
I don't think that it's far-fetched that they would ask those two guys. I don't have any knowledge of that, but I didn't also ask that question. To me, it wasn't a big deal because that's how do I say this, Alex? That stuff usually doesn't leak out. because
Yeah.
that's either coming from the GM's office or it's coming from the players, and those are your two stars. And there's really no reason to leak that out, especially if you're trying to make the team better. But now on the flip side, I'll tell you this: I am going to be weighing Domas's opinion much heavier than I'm going to be weighing Fox's.
Me too.
So
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
It's not even a matter of whose team it is. Domas is under contract much longer than De'Aaron is.
No, great, 100%. I agree. Also, I wanted to pivot a little bit. I remember you made that. You asked that question last week about what's a movie that you're kind of embarrassed about.
Yeah.
But whatever. I want to give you another one. How about you do a song next? Ask everybody what's a song that you like that you're embarrassed about. Something of that matter.
You know what, Alex? It's funny you said that. I asked a question along those lines yesterday. I'm like, what's a concert that you went to that you didn't want anybody else to know about? But dude, I'm good with that. If you guys want to put a song in the chat that you don't want anybody to know, usually that you love, throw it in. Or if it's a concert, I'll give you both of mine. What do you have, Alex? You got to kick us off.
Sure, I'll start off. Mine's easily, without a doubt, "Genie in a Bottle" by Christina Aguilera.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
catchy. It's catchy as fuck. I'm sorry to disappoint you. It's real catchy. I'm not saying I listen to it every single day, but I do enjoy it. It's a catchy tune. I'm not gonna lie.
So you didn't disappoint me at all. The problem, you know what? I just heard that one in the car like 2 days ago.
Oh, okay.
But we used to, in my high school, every year they would do like a version of the Gong Show. And one of my buddies, he was a really good athlete, smart kid, but he was just in love with Christina Aguilera. And he kept telling us, he's like, dude, I'm going to do Genie in the Bottle for the Gong Show. I'm like, no, you're not, bro. You're not doing that. And sure enough, this dude shows up on stage in like a skirt, and he didn't even have he didn't even have a wig on. He had like, you know, those foam fingers, like number one fan, whatever. He had the foam like hair. And I'm like, so now anytime I hear that song, I just picture him, and it's just, it's not good. Not good.
That's fantastic though. Yeah, you have to give him his flowers for that.
You got to give him his flowers, no doubt. No doubt. You know what? In fact, you know what? I got to think about the song really quick. But I will tell you a concert that I went to with another dude, by the way. We didn't tell our girlfriends about this.
All right.
So we used to have a friend that worked at the box office at Arco Arena. So sometimes he'd be like, hey, do you guys want the good tickets before they go on sale? And in this case, we hit him up before the tickets were going to go on sale. We were like, dude, we need 2 tickets really close to the stage for Britney Spears. Like, just get it done. Just get it done. And so, we went to see Britney Spears at Arco Arena. That was pretty lame, but pretty cool. Look, you got me, Alex?
And for some reason, I can't hear you, Ryan. I'm not sure what it is.
You got probably your reception. Chat, did I drop out there, or was it just
this might be on my end.
New internet? Holy crap, we're gonna have a problem there. Yeah, might have been on Alex's end. We lost him. All right. So interesting. Very good. So Adriana, jeez. My apologies. Somebody just came running into my house. Not the person I expected. That was weird. Anyways, getting back to the show. Let's see. Kuzma is a trade target. Yes, we talked about that. Flat bill colorways. We talked about that. I know, Adam. I took that up with Alex too about the driving in the calling. He says he's got the phone hanging up. We'll bring him in really quick again. Alex, I don't like you calling and driving, dude. It makes me nervous.
I'm sorry about that. I'll change that from now on. But I didn't get to hear your story, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Just don't come on video if you're driving and calling. I don't want that.
Sounds good.
And I encourage everybody not to drive and call on video. But anyways, and I appreciate the call. You know I appreciate you, dude.
No, definitely, yeah.
So Britney Spears was the concert.
Oh, okay.
that
That's
we went
fantastic.
to. Yes, it was pretty good. I mean, there were some lame concerts back in the day, like 98 Degrees. There was a surprising one. We were front row for Justin Timberlake after he came out with the Justified album. That was a
Wow.
fun show. That was a cool one. That dude can move.
Let me ask you this: how was the Britney concert? Was it overall pretty good? Like, was her voice good in person, or like how was the experience?
Oh, I wasn't listening. I didn't care about that. It was fine. No, I mean, those concerts are more about dancing, especially back in that day. I mean, they were working.
I hear you.
They burnt some calories for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. And last thing, Rhino, I want to leave you with, just a little wrestling thing. Maybe you could ask this on this show or a different show that you have. But what's one wrestler in particular that you think was wasted or could have been the next big thing? I think that's a good little topic discussion. That wasn't, I guess.
That wasn't, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll think about that for sure.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
And for me, it was Elias. I think Elias could have been the next big thing. Because I think he had the look. Obviously, he was ripped to shreds, bulky and everything. Had the hair and everything. But I don't know if you remember, he did a live concert on Raw one time. But I don't think there was people there. I think it was during COVID, and I thought that was great. I thought that was a real good thing because he actually sounded pretty decent. Why he didn't go over, I'm not sure. They did his stepbrother or half brother thing. That was kind of weird, but to me, I think Elias could have been that next big thing. I could be way off too, but I was a big fan of his.
For sure, I could see Elias. What was it? Ezekiel was the brother. Ezekiel.
Yeah, Ezekiel, and they started doing his whole family, and it was real weird and corny. But I think if they would have just kept his guitar persona, his rock star thing, I think that would have been great.
Hey, it's not bad. It's not a bad observation. He hung around for a while. They just didn't do anything with him.
Yeah, but anyway, it was nice talking to you, man. I'll try not to call on the road. I know that makes you nervous, so have a good night, man.
It's just because I care about you, brother. That's it.
I feel it. I feel it. Have a good one, bro.
That is Alex. All right. Sorry about that awkward moment. My wife did not know. My wife thought I chose all of you in the King's Court over my son. She had no idea that he was riding home with our neighbor. So she came storming in, freaking out, and thought she caught the hint. Read your text messages, honey. Let's see. Fox not talking to the media after making $500K a game made me dislike him as a leader. It's popular opinion, Scuba. It is a popular opinion. Kuzma, Kappa Monsters, University. Kuzma and a shooting guard who can shoot the ball. Now, see, Lydia, that's what's wrong, I think. I agree with Kuzma, but a shooting guard that can shoot the ball that you need to run offense for, that you got to get, because true shooting guards, you got to get them in the flow of the game a little bit. I know they've got to do it for themselves as well, but that was the problem that I don't think enough people are talking about with the Kings starting lineup to a degree. And it wasn't just last year, it was the year before when they made the playoffs. There wasn't enough shots to go around for the starters. So that's why I think a Keon Ellis or that type of player is so much better suited for this starting lineup. And I'm not trying to make a comparison to the best team in Sacramento history, the O2 team, where you've got a Doug Christie, but a Keon that can give you more defensively and bring better traits or free up some of your defenders that aren't as great of defenders, free them up to do things they're better at. That to me is more valuable. Look at what they did on defense when Keon was starting. And I know Monk was out, but there was a little bit of crossover when those two were playing. They were able to switch. They were able to hedge screens. They were able to do all these different things you couldn't do with Kevin Huerter. And the funny thing is, Kevin Huerter is not a bad defender. He gets a bad rap sometimes. So I think a Keon Ellis type is the best role or the best spot for a starting guard. And I think Keon, not to say he is a starter, but I do think that type of guy would fit best with this offense. Let's see, build around Sabonis, ship Fox. Scuba, here's the thing. I'm not one to crap on De'Aaron Fox. I know it might seem that way, but the problem is I feel like a lot of the local media here, they give you too much sugar and they don't give you enough salt. You need the sweet, you need the sour. And it's not that I'm trying to put him down in any way. I'm just pointing out facts. Like, went from inaugural clutch player of the year to 4th in the NBA and missed field goals. And he had actually, I don't have the stat in front of me, so I'm not going to say it, but there were a couple stats that were almost the worst of his career. The only year that was worse, I believe, was his rookie or the year after his rookie. I'll have those for you tomorrow. So I'm kind of in the camp that if you look at the formula for this team, and I'm not talking about just the 0-2 team, look back when hard decisions were made about trading Mitch Richmond. Look back at all those different deals, Billy Owens, etc. They had their time. And maybe Billy Owens is a bad example, but Mitch Richmond had his time in Sacramento. He was great. It just didn't work. It wasn't going to take the team to the next level. Now, Mitch sold a lot of tickets for sure. The games with him and Jordan and him going against many of the other 2 guards who, for most teams, those were the stars of the league at that time. That are the centers. The Kings had to put their neck out on the line. You had to trade Jason Williams to get Mike Bibby. You had to trade DeMarcus Cousins. And it just feels like we're starting to get to that spot with De'Aaron Fox. You've had 7 years of De'Aaron Fox, and he's made the playoffs once. You've had 2 years of Sabonis, 2.5 years, and he's made the playoffs once. So you could argue there's not a big enough sample size between the two of them, but the question becomes, as Sabonis's contract goes on, the number goes up. At some point, he's going to be making over $50 million. So De'Aaron Fox is going to ask for that type of money. And De'Aaron Fox would not be a max player in a big market, in my opinion. So you better be ready to give the franchise to De'Aaron. And he's had the franchise already. And arguably, he gets the burden of the criticism when things go wrong. It's your team, De'Aaron. I know he is literally the guy that drives the car. Sabonis is the car. We get that analogy. But it's not his team. It's Domas's team. Yet he's being told it's his team by the media, by the fans. And so it's made for this very weird dynamic. And I just don't know that I don't know if that clock has run out on De'Aaron. I mean, can he get significantly better than what we've seen? I don't know if you will ever see De'Aaron play better than he did the playoff year. I mean, he was the best player in the playoffs until he broke his finger. Or the best player in that series. So it's tough to say. And then the style change this year, my goodness, that was to go away from your strength. And I get it's a 3-point shooting league, but you have to have something that differentiates you, right? And the 3-ball doesn't make De'Aaron that much different from any other guard in the NBA. But his speed, his ability to get by defenders, that is different. His freaky athleticism at times is different. And it's like they just went away from it. So let's get back to the chat. And then we will probably get ready to wrap up pretty soon because Grant's going to be on at 5. And then Grant and I will be back at 8 o'clock tonight. So hopefully you can join us. Scuba. All right, my embarrassing song. I like Days of Girlhood by Justin Mulvaney. I don't know that I've heard that one. I'll check that out. Adam tuning in. This is actually, that is a very popular ticket to this day. The reason I found that out was because of my previous occupation. I had a client that It filled me in every single time. The New Kids on the Block update, and they do a cruise now, by the way, Adam. If you want to catch up with New Kids on the Block, you can go on like a week-long cruise with the guys. I don't know. I do think like the resurgence of the boy bands has been pretty funny though. Everybody should go see Iron Maiden. I love it. Adam, Razor Ramon. Okay. John, you saw Iron Maiden. There you go. Sea Dog, Shockmaster. Don't know what the wrestler. Scuba, I'll root for the Kings as always, but I think we will take a step backwards next year. We are banking on Keon, and he wouldn't see the court most of the game for a playoff team. Yeah, that's fair. Now, if you have a healthy Kings roster, how much is Keon seeing the court? You know, that kind of changed things too. But in terms of Rudy and I guess Scuba, is it the De'Aaron Fox? I know you mentioned that a second ago. Is it him not talking to the media that's turned you off as a whole? Is it the decisions by the franchise? What is it? I would be very curious to know that. And again, like we talk about the financial side of things, COVID hurt this team. It hurt every team financially. But then, like, if you even want to go back to the Luka thing, and Dirk is he is diehard. The Kings should have taken Luka, and I understand that it's unforgivable to him. Now, I can respect that opinion, but whether you think the Kings should have taken Luka or not, there's one thing that we can all agree on. Do you know how much money that dude is making for the Dallas Mavericks? I mean, he's an international star, so you automatically have all of the international fans tuning in, or most of them tuning in to watch him. Some will come see him play in person. You're getting deep playoff runs. You're playing competitive basketball most of the nights. And if you're not playing well, it is still kind of it's a show to be seen. So the Kings not only lost out on a great player, they lost out on a lot of money there. A lot of money. El Cap popping back in. Do you think Kings need an Aaron Gordon type at 4? I haven't climbed El Cap at Half Dome. Cables is on the bucket list. Cool. Very good. I've actually never been to Yosemite. So I only know about El Cap because of what's the climber that did the free solo thing? We watched that movie. I need to get to Yosemite. I really do. But very cool. Aaron Gordon type. It's so funny. We had this conversation yesterday about the framework for smaller market teams and should you be following the Denver model? And this is the question that comes up, an Aaron Gordon type. Well, the Kings right now are not ready for their Aaron Gordon type, but no, I don't think you need an Aaron Gordon type at the 4. I think you need more of, again, if Domas, this is where the Kings really need to push Domas this season. And I don't think Domas needs to be pushed. You look at what he did last offseason. I mean, the guy was tremendous the year before. He played through an injury. He's already got barely any body fat, but he went back to the drawing board and he's like, what can I do different? What might be holding me back? Guy deletes social media, right? And then he does food sensitivity testing and finds out pasta isn't really the best for him. He cuts pasta out of his diet, comes back at like 0% body fat. I mean, this guy is working his tail off. So I have no doubt he's going to try to work in the 3-point shot. He needs to make quicker decisions like we've talked about, because he always makes the right decision. But the 3-point shot is really the thing. And he's not a bad 3-point shooter. It's just you see the windup, you see the hesitation. It's not a quick shot that he gets off. So I think you want him at the 4, and then you want an athletic 5, and then you have a big 3. And I don't mean big 3 in players, but you have Keegan at the 3 that's on the bigger side. So I really like how that could work out. Ryan, what do you think about the NFL banning the hip drop tackle? How can defense defend anymore? I don't know, C-Dog. I don't. And the thing is, you're talking to the guy that just had 2 hip replacements last year. So I don't want any NFLer to have to go through that. And especially, the hip drop tackle is more of a lower leg injury, high ankle sprain, or worse, sometimes compound fractures. You see more of those in college. But yes, it's nearly impossible to defend. And what really threw me off was Roger Goodell. It was either the Super Bowl week or right after the Super Bowl. He was on the Pat McAfee show and they were talking about the Halo rule. That's what it was. Excuse me. And they were asking some of the same questions, like inevitably, how are we going to have football as we know it if you keep kind of neutering the game? Because most of these adjustments in these rule changes, like you point out, targeted at the defense. I mean, if you're a defender, you've got like this much space to hit somebody, it feels like. So Roger Goodell says, well, we can officiate it out of the game. We can make it safer by the way we officiate. It's like you already have enough problems with the officials. So I don't have a problem with the rule, but I am in complete agreement with you about what else is next and how can defenders defend. And if you're going to do that to defenders, you also need to protect the offensive guys a little bit more, especially the offensive line. I don't see how anybody likes that tush push play. That is a dangerous play, in my opinion. Clock has ran out. Magically get better in his 30s, right? It's all true, and it's just that we need to take a step back on it and look at it. Would rather go on the Monsters of Rock cruise. There you go. Okay, I see you, Monsters of Rock. I like it. You guys are doing some internal chat. Okay, we're talking concerts. Very good. Getting a better Lids is going in on the hill. Getting a better shooting guard than Keon if Monk is gone. Starting lineup: Sabonis, Kuzma, Keegan, Monk, Fox. Probably. And depending on who you give up, because you got to think, I mean, the Kings are either going to have to get a very young big in the second round. So let's say they get Kuzma. That means your first round pick is probably going away. So there goes a cheap roster spot. You currently have really one center on the roster in Sabonis. Lyles can play small ball center. But how are you going to address that position without going over the cap? It's going to be tough, especially if you get Kuzma. So I don't know. It's a tough one, Lids. I don't think they can really afford to upgrade the shooting guard position if they keep Monk. But yeah, off the clock. Any Mike Brown news? My man, Patrick, what's up, my dude? I'm glad you are off the clock. Always checks in about this time. No news, just coaches getting contracts. LA all in on Tyronn Lue. We talked about that yesterday. And they seem to be reportedly really wanting to bring back Paul George, which is confusing because I don't see them keeping Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Now, Kawhi still has time on his contract, but that decision is coming sooner rather than later. So to me, it feels like you got to choose between those two. And if that's going to be the case, try to target Kawhi Leonard. Why not? He'd be a good fit here. Alex Harnell. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was pretty impressive. That was scary to watch. And it seems really impressive on video. You know why we're not up that way? Because we have a cabin in Strawberry. Our family does. It's been in the family for generations. So we're always up 50. But very good. Rhino, you're skipping it. Are you going to watch it? Watch what, Baki? My bad, brother. The chat is going quick. What do you want me to watch? Put it back in the chat. What do you think of the hockey game last night? Dude, so much fun. So much fun, Sea-Dog. And here's what I absolutely loved about it. I watched a little bit of the pregame. And so it showed that, like it wasn't just the rabid fans, because usually, playoff times, they put the rabid fans on TV. But like when they were doing the national anthems, They were showing like these older fans, they were showing families, they were showing like all these people that are all in Edmonton. You can tell they are long time fans. It's great seeing you too, Lids. Glad to see you back in here in the King's Court. Welcome back. Love to have you all the time. But it was so cool seeing that atmosphere. Hockey just means something different to Canadians. It does. And then the game, the Oilers fall behind. They get a shorthanded goal. Then they go up. It was electric. I loved it, dude. I've got to get more into hockey. I absolutely do. Yeah, no doubt. It was cool. It was good stuff. 205 here on the King's Court. We're getting ready to wrap up in a second. And you know why? Because you have got to get out to Bennett's West Side Grill in Rockland. They've got their sips and tastes at happy hour. Happy hour is going to be getting ready to go on here in just a little bit at all of their locations. Go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. You can learn more about each of their 3 locations. They're great specials. You guys know I'm partial to the brunch. 2 entrees, bottle of champagne, $44. Not a bad deal. In fact, a great deal. Try to go get like a big breakfast at McDonald's and a bottle of champagne. Probably cost you the same thing. But also, dinner time. You know the specialties, the red fish, the prime cuts of steak. But check out their dinner specials during the week. I believe Monday. Actually, I know Monday. 2 entrees, and they have some good entrees on that list, like the short rib, filet mignon, and a bottle of wine, $65. You know we love our Bennett's. We are looking for our first Triple Crown winner. Somebody, I believe it was Andrew, that said he had been to 2 of the 3 Bennett's. So who's going to be the first one besides Grant and I to go to all 3? But yes, go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com for reservations, menus, gift cards, so much more. Huge thanks to Brian and the team at Bennett's for sponsoring the King's Court. And if you don't like that, don't forget Grant will be here not too much longer, about 90 minutes, doing an open forum. And then Grant and I will be back tonight at 8 o'clock. Baki, Saturday, Wembley Stadium, London. 12 West, 3 p.m. The biggest game in the most popular sport in the world. Dude, I'll give it a watch. Are you talking about the Premier League? I'm just not a big soccer guy. I'm kind of trendy fan when it comes to like World Cup time. I'll watch a little bit more. But the biggest objection is getting me to sit down for a soccer game. Like, I don't usually sit down and watch sporting events. You know that, like, if it's a Kings game, I'm working. And it's not just working on the shows. Like, I have my routines during Kings games where I'm tracking every possession, But, when I'm watching, like, otherwise, usually, like, it's my team, the Seahawks or whatever, and I'm up and moving around. But if you can get me to sit still, then I will check out the game. I know there is a ton of good soccer going on there. Wembley is a great place for sporting events. There is no doubt. Canadians have a national. Oh, Scuba!
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Canada, Scuba's going in on you. Canada, you got a national anthem? What? Yeah, the whole stadium sings it. The Blackhawks have a similar thing, Connor, right? With the guy that sings the national anthem. It's like more of like a motivational thing, the way he sings it. It's really intense. I know he's done Bears games too in the past. What do they say? Scuba!
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Scuba, I've got some bad news. You left out round bacon and maple syrup, my friend. You got to make sure you get those in. Rockland is 3,000 miles away. Patrick, if I could send you something freeze-dried from Bennett's, I would. I absolutely would. We got to get you out here, though. We got to get you out here. I would love to share a meal with you, Patrick. Yeah, no softball. You guys are having a good time. Look, we're going to get ready to wrap up. It has been a very fun day here on the King's Court Live. Sometimes we go a little bit longer, but days like this, we've got Grant coming up in 90 minutes. And then again, we will be back at 8 o'clock tonight. Looking forward to it. Enjoy. Lots of sports going on, specifically the Mavericks and the T-Wolves. We'll break it down at 8 p.m. But first, make sure you come back at 5 for our guy, the principal around here, Grant Napier, Open Forum. And I'm going to give you a little hint, y'all. When he puts Open Forum in there, try to take it off the rails a little bit. I appreciate it, everybody. Go Seahawks. Great show. Thank you very much. My pleasure as always. You guys know this. But go off the rails a little bit with the Open Forum. Seriously, do it. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Go Hawks. Indeed. Ask him about some other stuff. He loves, C-Dog knows this. He loves when you go off the beaten path. When he puts Open Forum, it's almost like he wants sport or questions outside of sports. Giving you some insight if you don't like that here. So have fun with it. You never know what will spark a very good Grant's rant or a good conversation. Hell, C-Dog, he is a OG from the Listen App group. Patrick, OG. John Finch, OG. I don't want to leave any OGs out that are in here. You guys know how that goes. So it's a lot of fun. But thank you again for being here today. It has been a great pleasure. Be back in 90 minutes for Grant, and we will see you at 8 o'clock. Tedora, you know you got to start us with the lead.
Holy
out.
moly, Jim
Yes,
Bowley.
indeed. Go Kings. Light the damn beam. And my wrestler that they didn't do anything with, like quite literally, because they didn't sign him, Will Ospreay. It's got to be Will Ospreay. And by the way, AEW, what the hell are you doing? Putting a title on Will Ospreay and then having him challenge for a world title? You're booking yourself into a corner here. Come on, Tony Khan. I didn't even get to you in the story about the Jags. We'll carry that over until, and you know what? We're going to talk about that with Grant tonight at 8 o'clock. Maybe somebody should bring that up to him. Anyways, as I was saying, light the damn beam. Court is dismissed until shoot around tomorrow morning. Take care.